I'm married to the game. Players never change. I got hustle in my veins. And I ain't been the same since I learned to slang. I ain't got no time to hang. I'm married to the game. Players never change. I got hustle in my veins. And I ain't been the same since I learned to slang.
All right. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Hey, we're back with another episode of Real Club, and it's been a minute. It's been, he was calling me out earlier. Like, he was telling me, like, hey, Obi, he's
before
like,
the
it's
show?
been months.
Yeah.
We haven't done this, you know.
It's been a very
It's
long
been about a
time.
month and a half break, you know. A lot of good things are happening, I would say, you know. So welcome to Real Club, welcome audience, welcome Facebook audience, YouTube, and all our podcast audience, you know, to our show, Real Club. And what I do always, as you guys already know, this is probably like what a 25th episode, 26?
We're farther than
26, I think, is what it actually is.
26th episode. Okay, what I do is always introduce my team over here. We have DJ P on ones and twos.
All right.
And then we have my man Jerry the Myth
Yes, sir.
recording today,
Thank you.
producing. But we also have our engineer and the owner of the place, Session Works. You look it up in Hearst. If you want to record everything, come to Session Works. Mr. Sean Engineering back there.
Oh, yeah, Sean.
Hey, I love you, man. We got to get you on a podcast, brother, because you've been around the game
Definitely,
for a
it's been too long.
long time. And you have
That'd be a dope episode.
gold. By the way, this studio is
Need to have them both on there. You and Jeff at
gold
the same
and
time. That'd be good.
platinum recording studio, Session Works in Hearst.
There we go.
And then, none the least, we have two great guests on our show today. We have Mr. Brad Anderson and Brothers Foundation Repair.
Yeah.
And Mr. Frank Pena,
Yes, sir.
the owner,
Thank you, Obi.
Brothers Foundation Repair. And I use them, both of them. So, and my name is Obi. I'm with XBT Realty, also the host of Real Club. And how you guys doing?
Obi, this is going to be the most interesting discussion about foundation and concrete and foundation repair and
Well,
concrete
you know
projects,
what?
and you're live.
Man, I'm excited.
Well, you know, we don't always like talk about business. We always talk about personal and business. So you know, I would like to have give a mic to you, and then Frank, let everybody know who you are, where you came from, where do you live here. Since we are a local podcast, obviously, you know, people are gonna watch it on Facebook and they want to reach out to you. So, Brad, I'm gonna give it to you, the mic, and tell a little bit the audience who you are. And what do you do.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to Real Club, to
Thank you.
Obi for bringing
Yeah.
us, for the whole crew here tonight, and Hearst, USA. This is where the airplanes fly in and out all over the world for DFW Airport in the Hearst, Euless, and Bedford Metroplex of North Texas. And this is the place, and this studio here, I'm just longing to hear more about which artists got the platinum and such. But Brothers Foundation and Concrete, that's who we are tonight. But I live nearby in Fort Worth, Texas. And I grew up in South America, Argentina, Chévere, speak
Oh,
Spanish,
wow.
speak
There you
Spanish. And I was born in Costa Rica. And I'm working for Frank now as his Vice President of Business Development for Brothers Foundation and Concrete. And
Boom.
I've been around here after I moved from South America. We moved to Fort Worth. I finished high school at Southwest High School. Go Raiders. And Southwest High School is where some of Frank's friends and neighbors live. And I'm a Baylor Bear, but also named after an Aggie, because a lot of the foundation companies like to talk about their educational ties, whether it's North Texas or A&M, but we have all kind of ties with TCU, staffers. And so my family, my wife, and my kids, we all have served and lived here in the Fort Worth area. And I work for Frank, who is part of this great team of brothers at Brothers Foundation Repair. So I'd like to maybe Frank to talk about it. And I've been entrepreneurial. I had a lot of different jobs. I've actually worked in some broadcasting, some music. I'm a musician.
We love to hear about the broadcasting side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, that's a great introduction, man.
But I tell you, Frank, as far as entrepreneurship, not only as far as leading the growth of Brothers Foundation and everybody's talking about it, needing it, but also has a background like you as an entrepreneur. So you'll love hearing about Frank Pena here, who
That's
is the
amazing,
partner
man.
and one of the owners of Brothers Foundation and Concrete.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah,
So
what a
welcome
great
to the show,
introduction,
man.
huh?
Hey, you know, you can't beat it.
Wow,
He's
it's
in
a good thing I
broadcast.
don't
You
pay
know,
him
we're
by the
just
word.
champs over here, man. We're just,
Yeah.
just here in his presence, you know.
Telling you.
So,
That's why
yeah,
he's
man,
the
Frank,
head of sales.
tell a little bit of audience about your company and, you know, a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
Where are you from?
Sure,
and-
sure. Well, I was born in Bakersfield, California, Buck Owens country. And we moved out here just over 40 years ago. I'll never forget my grandfather told me, he said, son, if you're going to go to Texas, he says, you got to stay for 1 year. You got to stay long enough to find out if you really like it. We moved out here in 79. It turned out it was the coldest winter on record.
Colder than the one we just
70,
passed?
yeah, it was the coldest on record.
Wow.
Then we went into 80, which I'd moved out here in September. In 80, it was the hottest summer on record. 66 days over 100.
Back to back. Huh?
My God.
Wow.
That was the test.
So
And
you
we
just
stuck
stayed
it
there.
out. We love Fort Worth. We made our home there, and it's been there ever since.
Wow, amazing.
And we
So-
really enjoyed being a part of Texas. And I'll tell you, with all the stuff going on around here, this is the best place to live right now.
You know, they say that Fort Worth, Texas is growing by 1,000 people arriving here every week.
Every week. That's a true statement.
I believe it. I believe it 100%.
You know.
I could see it.
So, Frank, before Brothers Foundation, what did you do?
Well, I was actually doing what you did.
Oh, really?
I was flipping houses.
Wow.
Selling houses. And we were doing that before that was even popular.
Wow.
I was teaching high school, and a friend of mine, he sent me a little, it wasn't a text, it was a beeper.
Okay.
Back then we had beepers,
Pager.
little pager. So I called him back and I said, hey, what's going on, Robert? He said, hey, do you know how to speak Spanish? Are you bilingual? I said, yeah. He said, well, you want to be in the house business? I said, well, tell me about it. The next thing I know, we're buying houses for $5,000 to $10,000 a piece.
Hey, Frank, make sure you talk into your mic.
All right.
So that we can pick up everything.
All right, $5,000 to $10,000 for a house, and the only people that were buying were people that had cash because we'd gone through a big bust out here. Finance,
which
these
year is
loan
that?
and savings companies. This was late '80s, early '90s.
Late 80s.
That- that's when you was doing the house flipping?
So, late
Yeah.
80s. So,
Yeah.
like,
Wasn't
I
even
was
born yet.
probably 10, around that time, 10 o'clock. So, our young audience, what Frank is referring to as a pager, what that is a little device.
Mm-hmm.
It's yay this long, okay, and you hook it to your side most of the time on your belt, and you get a little text message on an additional screen.
And it lets you know to hit a
actually
payphone.
Okay,
tells
let me tell you about those
hey,
pagers back then. The Airline magazine used to have an ad for the leading pager company, and it was the compelling ad about the pager. And the ad showed this airplane in the sky. It was on American Way magazine, the Airline magazine, and it said, "Somewhere between New York and L.A., Brad lost his shorts." It means he lost the deal because he didn't have his pager, his SkyTel pager. Somewhere between New York and L.A., Brad lost his shorts.
Wow.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So before that, you were doing house flipping, and which is really popular still right now.
Yeah.
So you chose. So that was your first gig, or
That was where I got introduced to foundations.
okay.
Okay. So we were buying these houses, we were selling for cash. Back then, the banks weren't even loaning money. You couldn't even buy a car because nobody loaned you money. So the buyers were the people with cash. So there were people out there, especially minority groups, that had been putting this money under the couch for one day, and the next thing, they're the market. They were truly the market. Well, guess what? They were buying houses we buy for $10,000. I'd sell it to them for $15,000. In a weekend, you'd make $5,000. Wow,
pretty
that's a
good
great
return
return.
right there.
And see, back in that day, the houses didn't appreciate like they do now. Back then, they would appreciate maybe 5% a year. So really, holding on to a piece of property was not the best
yeah.
investment. The best investment was turn your cash and roll it and roll it and roll it, and you'd make a lot more than that. It wasn't like these times. So that's what we did. Speaking of selling houses, 1 year we did 52 houses that we actually bought and flipped.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of work right there.
I bought a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house one time at the courthouse steps for $2,500.
Well, yeah, I think my dad was telling me something like that. People lose their properties and stuff, and
Yeah.
then I guess if someone offers to take up what's owed on the
Yeah.
property, they'll give them the property.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A realtor called us up and they actually told us, look, this lawyer's going to foreclose on this house. You just make whatever you think it's what you'd want to give for that house. So I said, wow, this sounds like a trap. I don't know
Yeah.
how, that doesn't make any sense. But I said, well, let's take a risk. I'll just bid $2,500. The people were standing around the courthouse saying, there's something not right here. Did anybody look at this
And
house?
what
What's
was that
going on?
house worth around then?
Well, if it was fixed up, it was probably worth $25,000.
Oh wow, Frank.
Yeah.
That's
Big-
So that's
big
a
money.
really, really, really
Big
good
money.
flip.
Big
Yeah,
money.
back then, definitely.
And I bought the house for $2,500. I wouldn't put a sign on a post. I asked for $10,000 and I sold it in 3-4 days. Boom, cash money. Boom.
Wow.
And so that was a great return. Of course, I wish I had that house back now, right? And all those houses. Oh yeah.
So Obi,
it's
Just
the-
at least is the land.
The wholesale thing is still there. Obviously, it's going to come around. A lot of people are actually going to get off the government assistance, and they're going to get off those forbearances. Hey, by the way, my Facebook audience, if you guys are struggling to get your mortgage caught up, give me a call so I can help you get off that. If you want to sell it, great. And if you want to sell it, and before you sell it, if you have some issues with foundation repair, my man Frank and Brad
Absolutely.
are here.
We're the best in the
but
business.
Any repairs you have and you're really seriously under and you think you're not going to get out of it, don't wait too long before you start. But after you did fix and flip, what did you do after that?
Well, we started doing some repairs on. I started, you advance.
Right.
You take it from where you're just flipping it to the next thing you're thinking, well, let me
You get a
maximize the
passion for
profit.
it.
Let me fix it up a little bit more, and then pretty soon it's a little bit more, and pretty soon you're fixing a house like you're going to live in it, which is not a good idea, by the way, when you're selling a house.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. You got to forget about that. So that turned down, well, you get a lot of houses with foundation issues. The next thing you're looking at, what do I got to do to fix it? And that leads to one thing and another. And that's a new business.
Wow.
You expand the business. And then from there, we went to concrete, which was another. Well, that requires something. A lot of these driveways the driveways are broke up. They need repair. A person needs a patio. You want to fix that. So it's all about helping the people bring up their homes, the value of their homes, and repair them so they are comfortable in
Frank,
them.
so far my experience with you, working with you, has been amazing experience. And I called him literally on the weekend, and Brad got on the phone. Super great conversation. Literally, as soon as I got off the phone with him, and he had the crew out there on Monday morning, and you cannot expect another foundation company to be out there so fast, so fast. And I was super impressed by you guys.
Thank you.
You had trucks out there. You were taking care of my client. You were actually making calls. Not even like a referral basis. Like I called Frank for a referral for our plumbing job. He had a person, he has a team of people. They're super great, super humble, and they're really professional. And they're quick about what they say. So Frank was on the phone, even though he's a big boss man. He was like, bro, listen, here's the number. You can't call this person. I call this person for you. So you know what? It's humbling to see that, and you're a very humble person for doing that. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So concrete work. So a little bit of detail on a concrete work. We're going to get into it, but I want to get back Brad on the mic real quick. Brad, so tell us a little bit about your background. I know you're working Brothers Foundation and concrete. Mm-hmm. What did you do before?
well, I was like you. I was in corporate America for a long time, and
Okay.
at some point, very recently, I'm going to say goodbye to corporate America and say hello to the life of the vibrancy of Brothers Foundation Concrete. That's a decision this week. I told you about it. I kind of leaked the news to you about a few days ago. But my background was described at this local university by one of the board members when I used to work at UT Arlington, University of Texas Arlington, Go Mavericks. I was the assistant dean of the College of Business there, and I was assistant dean there not having been a business major at all. I was a liberal arts major in college. I went to Baylor University, Baylor Bears. But when I was assistant dean, I met with this real wacky, funny, and very, very important lawyer from the area. He goes, "Man, Brad, you got quite a checkered past there, man." It's really true. So my checkered past, I used to be a bilingual Spanish-English news broadcaster on the border of Mexico in Maverick County, Eagle Pass, Texas. Not a dull moment in Eagle Pass. Have you ever been there?
I've heard of Eagle Pass.
Okay. So I was a news director in Spanish and English. I was on the air, and then I used to be I was in radio for about 7 years, and I became a newspaper reporter in Los Angeles. I didn't know Frank there, but I was in
How long
L.A. Yes, sir.
How long did that go?
That was, I was in Los Angeles in 1987, 88. So I was there in Glendale, California, Van Nuys.
Was it a bigger paper?
No, it was a smaller
Small
evening
gig.
paper. It was the Glendale News Press, the Burbank Leader, and the Foot Leader. So every story I wrote for Glendale appeared in the Burbank newspaper for Johnny Carson show and those people. And then, but they always said that radio people weren't as deep journalists as print media. So I became a newspaper. I started out radio, and then I did newspaper and did some work on Capitol Hill as a intern. And then after that, after newspaper, I got into institutional fundraising for colleges and for nonprofits. And that's what got me eventually enough knowledge to go to be the assistant dean at the College of Business at UT Arlington to raise money.
Wow.
So I was there, and then I did some other stuff like that. And then I got into corporate sales after about 4 or 5 years. And I've been in corporate sales in the corporate world for the last 23, 24 years. But I've been with these guys always as a partner and as a ambassador and a partner for the last 7 years. Wow. And this company, Brothers Foundation, has been around for 29 years at Metroplex. Yes, sir. Yeah, we give kudos to the main partner, Agustin Hernandez, who's the founder, and then Frank Pena is the co-owner, and how you join them. Are you going to talk about the horses at all or anything in between? But Frank, you've been with them about 12, 15, how many years have you been with Brothers?
Well, almost 30 years.
Almost 30, yeah, there you go.
And y'all both just met through the company?
No, actually, we met through our church. We knew each other at a church, so he and I have known each other for 20 years.
Okay.
And we...
I was going to ask if y'all's history and education, because y'all both have a
Yeah.
background in education. Does that have anything to do with y'all knowing each other? Or?
A little bit. My education was radio TV major, and I never learned how to operate a camera. When I worked on the campus radio station. The first song I ever played was by the Police, "Spirits in the Material World." Remember that song, Mr. Producer? Police.
I think he's not old enough to remember that.
Well, I had to play that song because I was working for the campus
the one
station.
at the tailgate you made him play, or something? What?
I didn't.
Okay.
I played some Jacob Collier there. Kudos for Jacob Collier and also Dirty
Is it that
Loops,
song? It's
man.
like, dun, dun,
Dirty
dun,
Loops.
dun, dun,
Dirty
dun,
Loops.
dun.
But
Well,
anyway,
it's a great journey,
radio,
so,
and then newspaper, and then fundraising, and then sales, and so.
So you guys both are so you were a teacher, and you were in some sort of education field.
Yeah.
My mom was a principal.
Really?
There you go.
My both aunts were teachers.
Really?
So we kind of
Wow.
link up on that
There you
side
go.
of thing. My mom retired before she passed away. Rest in peace. 25 years in education.
Yeah.
Wow.
Both of my aunts retired 30 years in education, just teaching.
And in which state?
kids. And it's not here in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Both of my aunts were private school teachers, and my mom was actually a public school teacher. And then she became a principal, until she retired. And she was an amazing influence on a lot of people, a lot of kids. And I'm sure you guys are, doing the same thing. Teaching side of things. Of course, you're influencing me to be here and podcast and interviewing you. It's been a great journey, and it's not that long that I have got introduced. By the way, both of these folks are here now. The partner, and now they're gonna be actually leaders of me. Were introduced by our Mr. Mike Burns, C4 Roofing.
Let's go, Brandon Hudgens. Let's go, Brandon
so they are a
Hudgens.
great company also.
Yeah.
They are just like that, and I'm glad that I have a great team around me. They're actually very super professional, super humble, very responsive. So I'm gonna look up to you guys for a long time. So back to Frank. Frank, so you actually got partnered, or did you started brothers, or how did it?
I partnered.
You partnered.
He was a young man. I'm not a young man.
Okay.
He was a young man, and he used to work for another company, one of our competitors. And he decided to start his own company, and I was looking for somebody to work with me in repairing the foundations, and I gave him a chance, and so he started working, especially with pier and beams, which is a very specialized field. It's a field that no one wants to get into because it's real complicated. You have to know exactly what you're doing, and not just anybody can.
dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean and this is the interesting about pier and beam houses, is that they all have their particular customized. As many engineers as there are, there's probably that kind of plans. Everyone finds a way to construct it, so you've got to know what you're looking for and what it's going to take to go ahead and stabilize, reinforce, and re-level a house. And a lot of companies don't want to do that right now. They want the easy money, go in and fix a slab foundation like yours, boom, boom, and it's over. Where the others takes a mastery, a great knowledge and experience about how this pier and beam house can be, reconstructed and restored.
There's a lot to take in.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
there
big
is.
I mean, you
Oh.
lift a little
Oh, yeah.
here. What's it doing over
Exactly,
there?
exactly.
Takes a lot.
And one of
Exactly.
the things I speaking of modest and humble, my partner is that Agustin, and he would tell me, I'll charge you this much to do this work, and I watch him work, and I say, you know what? You need to raise your prices. You're not charging enough money for what you're doing. You run into a situation and you absorb the cost. You need to make certain that you're bidding and I was more business wise. I'd been doing it a long time. And that's how we developed a relationship. He trusted me, I trusted him. And the way that I met him at 7-Eleven. One day he's in there buying a cup of coffee, I'm in there buying a cup of coffee, and it goes to show how important a business a business card is.
You know what? One day, I think I have told this story before, but I used to work in a gas station. I have a great story about that. So
Do we have time to hear it tonight?
I might give you a short version of it. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Frank.
And that's how we became acquainted, and that's how we became with the dearest of friends, and we're brothers. And that's the way we identify ourselves. And as a result of that, our company has grown because, we treat people the way we want to be treated. That's very important for us.
And it's like family.
And we try to communicate with everyone, and we try to update them on how the project is going. I'll take pictures. I'll send people the pictures, whether at work, videos. I'll let them know when I'm coming, when I'm going. Hey, that's what I want to be. That's the way I want to be treated. So I do the same thing with them.
Yep.
And being old school like I am, I just turned 67 years old.
Oh, you
Yeah.
look so young.
I feel
thought
young.
You were like
Yeah.
35.
One of the assistants at the job site, I take a lot of pictures. He was looking at some pictures, and he said, I see where you're entering into underneath this house, and then I see you going all the way back to the front of the house. You actually went all underneath it? I told him, I said, you know what? I just want to see. I want to see what the problem is and what I got to do to resolve it. And I can't do that from way outside.
You gotta get the job
I got to
done.
get underneath it. So I kind of enjoy it. My wife thinks I'm crazy, right? And look, no spider bites, no snake bites, no scorpion bites.
I have
a
never
few
had
dead
any.
rats underneath
Yeah.
there, a few dead cats in there, but nothing that's affected me. So
I got
I
some
thank
bad
God
news,
every day
though.
for the
You
strength.
gotta love
and
what you're
energy.
doing.
No,
That's what Frank
and I
is
do.
saying.
It's
And I
actually
do.
really clear under a house.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
dark
Yeah.
and there's a lot of cobwebs and dust.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's not like
Yeah.
it's not a snake.
I think
and
they
a
all
rat
run
every
from
time
me.
through.
Obi, I got some bad news though. As I embark this quarter to do work with Frank and do it in the field, kind of like them, try to live life like Frank and Agustin. He's told me that he's not going to allow me to crawl under the houses as much, even though
I won't be able to get him out. He's too big. I'll have to do like they did in the Old Testament. They tie a rope around their leg or with a bell, and that thing stops moving. And call
What
911.
Frank is saying, whatever you do in life, as a business person or family person, you got to do it with love. You got to love what you're doing. So, Frank, that's amazing, man. God partner, and then now you're growing the company for how long?
We've been doing business for 29 years. All during that time, we've been friends and associates and have partnered in a lot of different things. So we've been growing the company ever since.
And are you just here native to DFW? Are you
We stay pretty much in
expanding?
the Tarrant County area. I
Okay.
mean, we get calls from Oklahoma, Louisiana, but we don't go that far.
Okay.
I mean, you can't do a great job going to those distances. We try to focus and concentrate. And be honest with you, we're plenty busy here.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I
so
don't
many
need-
people.
Listen, and North Texas has the most active soil out here in all of Texas. We're in the perfect spot.
So what's going on?
And you've
Have
got
you
all
done
these
the-
houses
Yeah.
that are over 100 years old.
The geography's
Hey, they need
looking
somebody
out
that
for
can
you.
fix these. Well, we're the guys to call. Brothers Foundation. and
Cool
Company.
little story. My ex-wife called me today. She's like, I have cracks in the house. There's flooring cracking up. I was like, well, did you water your foundation?
There you go. There you
Are
go.
you turning on your sprinkler system?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
That
enough
brings
time?
up a point that
You know?
at dinner, Frank was bringing that up about how people will call you and they're already serving under someone else's, another foundation company's warranty, and they call Frank to get some side advice, and Frank's will sometimes help them out, tell them that if they come out, if your other foundation comes out and sees that you don't have certain things, you want to kind of
Yeah, I
elaborate?
tell them. Yeah, but, you know, if I go over there and they say, "Look, I've called the foundation company that previously did the job. We just bought it, or we've lived here for a while," and I tell them, I said, "Look, the best thing you could do, always try to deal with the company that did the house originally, that repaired it." And give them a chance. Give them a chance to go ahead and work through your issues and go from there. I said, but I will tell you this: every foundation company has a maintenance agreement. You need to go through your paperwork, find out what it is, and you need to go ahead and address that before they come out, because you don't want them to void it or come up with a reason why we can't help you.
Right.
I said, so I tell them, if I don't see any gutters, I said, get some gutters, do a little backfill here, do a little this, so that when they come out. Yes, I could have the business, I could disparage that company. Why would I do that? If I do that, it's going to cost them thousands of dollars more. I'd rather they go with the initial company, and let's see what kind of deal you can get. Now, if you're not happy after that, well, give me a call. I had somebody call me up and said, look, I want to compare your bid with somebody else's bid. Come to find out, they've done a little bit of work. And I said, you know what? The work they did is still holding. It's still level. Why would you want to switch? He said, well, I just wanted to see if you had something better to offer. I said, it's not about offering something better. These people did a great job. Let them finish your house and continue to warranty your house. Because once you switch contractors, it's easy for the other contractors to say, hey, whatever they did affected what we did for
Yeah,
you. Now,
boys
now you're
warranty,
stuck.
yeah.
So they're not fixing it. You got this other one. I said, no. Look, I want you to try to work with the company that you started out with. You
And
know?
the soaker
I said, what you
hose
can do, call me.
for that-
Soaker
I was just
hoses.
about to get to that.
Look,
I was,
soaker
soaker hoses.
I was letting you.
Yeah, you've got
took my
soaker
words out of
hoses,
my
you've got drip lines,
Brad.
you got to watch the sprinklers, make sure they're not overwatering the area. I know people like all these flower beds in front, on the side, but you know what? You're retaining moisture there, which affects the foundation. What you're trying to do is prevent the foundation from expanding and contracting all the time.
I'm sending this video to my ex-wife.
Boom. Opening and closing, opening and closing. And then sometimes they have simple issues. I went and seen one today. He said, the corner of my foundation is cracked. What's wrong with it? I said, there's nothing wrong with it. But according to city specifications and the builders, they only allow that rebar to go a certain distance when they got to turn. So that means that part of the foundation is weak. It's not bond. It doesn't bond correctly. With a little bit of shifting, it breaks. But I said, that does not mean you have an issue. That just means the concrete broke there. I said, that's more of something that you can repair, cosmetic. But it's nothing that you have to worry about spending any money.
All right, so enough about business side of things.
Yeah.
I want to get into something. So you're married,
I'm married.
okay?
47 years in
Kids?
December. 2 kids. 1 girl, 1 boy.
Grandkids?
Yep. Grandkids, oh man, I got 4 grandkids plus 2 extra. I got 6 grandkids altogether.
Well, they said you didn't make enough.
And I'm a great grandfather.
Hey,
He
you
is a
are.
Great grandfather.
I feel like you're my grandpa.
And you know what? The amazing
I want
thing
to listen
about
to
this,
you all the time. You know, I was just gonna call you.
most
randomly,
people
Frank.
experience being fathers. Some are lucky enough to be experienced grandfathers. At 67, I know now there is another dimension of love that didn't know existed with a grandchild. His name is Romy. Oh my God, he has revived me. If you want to know why I'm feeling young, because I got a great grandson.
That's weird you said that phrase, because I've said that phrase in my head a million times, but I've never heard anybody say dimensions of love.
Yep.
Which I've said multiple times in my head. There's got to be
I didn't
different
know that
dimensions of love.
existed because not too many people get to experience that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's wild.
Brad, you're next.
Coming up on 29 years to my beloved, I'll just say EAA, yeah, I'll call her EAA. My beloved, she was actually a flight attendant for American Airlines. And you know, they used to have those posters at the mall, at the Spencer's gift store. Every man's dream, every young man's dream is to marry a airline hostess. Well, I got to marry her, but she's the sweetest, most wonderful, most intuitive, and most compassionate woman. Also to put up with me for 29 years.
Wow.
We have 3 children. We have 2 down here and 1 up in the Target. We have a 24 going on 25-year-old that lives in Washington, D.C. She's getting her PhD. We got a 19-year-old up in Chicago, up at college there, playing college sports. And we're just now enjoying a empty nest. And so asking him what to do, because you've got an empty nest, at least during the week. I know weekends you probably have grandkids and others come by, but we have an empty nest. And so we're rearranging a little bit of furniture and we're enjoying it, but we also have the bittersweet emotions of like our baby left. He left in the fall. Our baby, he's almost 6'5" now.
Well, hey, you know, if you ever want to downsize, you know who to call. XPT Realty.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
So that's great. So can we get shout out to both ladies? You know, what's her name?
My wife's name is Rebecca.
Rebecca and
Beloved Ann.
can we get claps, DJ?
Yeah.
Because those are supporters right there.
47
You know,
years
those
of
are the
enduring.
main, you know, the men are here, but like those are the ones handling things. in
One of the
back
most
home.
fun
You
things
know,
for me
so-
in life is to go on double dates with Becky and Frank, and then every now and then we're looking forward to that. Now we're going to be working together more. I think we'll get a chance to have double dates.
Absolutely.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's been such an honor.
Is
It's
it
been
almost
such-
over?
It's been 40
Are you
minutes.
kidding me?
It's been 35, 40
I
minutes.
just get warmed up.
Yeah,
So
it
what
goes
we're gonna
quick.
have
We
to
sure
do is
appreciate
we're gonna
Obi.
have you guys back on here. So maybe you can educate our audience on foundation,
Absolutely.
maintenance. We want to tease it. Next time, Frank and Barry is gonna be on there. They're gonna give you great tips.
We're going to tell
advice.
you about the material it takes,
yep.
What engineers are expected, what people that are buyers are looking for, what sellers you need to
Yes.
know. Yeah, just give us a
So
chance.
just comment below
Yep.
on YouTube what kind of questions you have.
Yes.
Or message Frank or Brad, you know, so we can have them before the summer starts. And it's gonna be busy season next year. It's gonna be amazing because there's gonna be a lot of moving of real estate going around.
Yeah.
So and then you guys do commercial, right? Can we put out the
Commercial?
commercial
Yes,
side
we
of the
do.
things
Yeah.
also real quick?
Frank could give some examples of some leading companies, some leading brands that are renowned brands that we've done parking lots for. We've done bigger retaining walls. You're doing a housing complex. Tell us
Yeah,
more about
a
the
low-income
government.
apartment complex. You know,
Do
we're
some-
doing some walkways for them and some different kind of projects, railing, but
Okay.
we've done all types of construction. We do focus on residential. Commercial is always a little more complicated. There's a lot more, specifications you got to meet and stuff. But we enjoy every part of it, and we haven't even gotten into the concrete. We do.
Well,
you know,
maybe we can talk about
patios.
commercial next
Yeah.
time you guys are before
Absolutely.
Glad
summer
to.
starts.
Yeah,
Sure.
Because I wanna make sure that Frank gets on here so we can get some tips and advice. Summer is the hottest thing in Texas, so we want to give you some maintenance advice, and Frank is gonna take care of that. When is your next book coming out?
My next book should be coming out any day now. It's
I'm
going
going
to be
to edit
number
it
one.
for him. I'm going to edit it for him.
There you go.
You should write a book.
I tell you.
should. You should life.
You know,
and
my
Journey and Frank
my
Peña.
grandson my grandson asked me one time. He's 22 years old. He went to TCU, and he helps us in our company in advertising and promotions. He said, "Grandpa, of all the things you've done, what job have you loved the most?"
Mm-hmm.
And I told him the one I'm doing now.
You gotta love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Gotta love what you're
Yeah.
doing. But
That
definitely
should
write
be everybody's
you have
answer.
To write a book
Yeah.
for us. Leave
that should be
leave
everybody's
your little
answer.
bit of legacy
Yeah.
behind
There you
us
go.
for next generation.
No, we'll do that. I'll
You know?
make sure he does that, and I'll
You
help
know?
him edit it because I have a lot of authors and professors and teachers like you do in the family that have written books, and we'll do that together. But I have a prediction to make about him too. At least by January, February next year, he's going to be on international radio too, because Frank the Frank is the man with knowledge not only about these technical aspects of concrete and foundation, but life in general.
That's
and
what I
cultural
want. I
issues, too.
love-
47
So-
years. I can
and-
tell you a few
I
things
love
about
his
marriage.
name.
I'll tell you right now.
But his name,
The next-
relationships.
Next podcast,
All right?
Frank. This is
Frank
the
the Frank.
icebreaker right here, Frank. So next podcast we're gonna be a little bit more open. We talk about relationships,
his name
friendships,
is
family.
Frank.
You
And
know?
he really is so frank.
Yeah.
He is Frank the Frank.
Yeah.
So I predict that he's not only with
I
your
tried
audiences.
that one time with a client. I said, you know that Frank is a very trustworthy name. And she says,
Let's be frank.
she said, you know what? I don't know if I agree with that. And I said, why? She goes, I was married to a Frank.
Yeah, I was about to say,
And
she must be
I'm
married to a
divorced
Frank.
now. I said, that's the last time I'll use that line.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, audience.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Obi.
everybody.
Thank you,
thank
Obi.
you, thank you,
Thank
Frank,
you
for
for the club.
coming on.
XPT
Thank you,
Realty. And also,
Brad.
thank you to
Great episode, guys.
Thank you, Real Club audience, Facebook, YouTube, all the audio platforms out there. And if you're listening outside United States, we thank you a lot. And just be great, be humble always. My name is Obi, and this is Real Club.
Excellent.
I'm married
All right.
to the game. Players never change. I got hustle in my veins. And I ain't been the same since I learned to slang. I ain't got no time to hang. I'm married to the game. Players never change. I got hustle in my veins. And I ain't been the same since I learned to slang. I ain't got no time to hang. Better pull up in the black beans, get the mad ease with the bad beat, hit it from the back end while I'm rapping the gas in the backwood.